Alright, so I figured I'd just take a moment and showcase an enclosure that I built for a one of my animals that I keep. This will be a yellow anaconda. And just sort of showing you, different kinds of setups for these guys. So you can obviously keep these in an enclosure. This one's a bit small, so I'm not going to go this big for it. This is my preferred setup for these guys. It's easy to maintain a good humidity in there, and it's easy to clean, and the snakes do really well in this. So I'm just going to remove this. It's not a mean snake, so no need for that. This is actually in my garage right now, and my plan is to move this snake out of here so I can keep most of my animals, and if not all my animals, in one place. This right here, good tool if you're keeping any kind of animals, especially yellow anacondas. Get a heat temperature gun. These things are really handy. You can make sure you've got thermo sort of gradient or whatever. So the snake will have a hot side and a cool side, so he can choose, or she in this case can choose. So the cage is pretty simple. This is kind of oversized for this animal, but it's growing fast, so it's definitely going to grow into this cage. It's a large sliding tub with wheels on the bottom. There's a locking mechanism right here. Make sure to put a back sturdy, sort of plate type thing. It's actually built from shelving units that I found at the supermarket, the hardware store. And so I think it looks really nice, and it's really smooth, so the snake won't obviously, if it rubs on it underneath, he's not going to damage herself. Oh, and it looks nice, and it definitely fits the style of my of the way I keep my animals. So this right here, simple lock mechanism, so make sure staying in place. Just a little bolt that is painted. So take that out, and then we can slide the cage forward. This right here is what yellow anacondas do. So this right here is my preferred setup. I actually just got this gal a few days ago. She's kind of underweight for her, she's a few months old, but she's kind of skinny. So I'm going to try to get her up to a 1 week, 1 meal a week sort of feeding schedule, since she was eating once a month. So I think she that was way too infrequent of the past owner to feed her, but whatever. So here, it's going to be a warm spot. Check it. Sure enough, warm spot's right there. We go cooler, and there's almost a 10-degree temperature difference there, which is perfect, so she can choose where she would like to hang out. She's actually shedding right now, so she's gonna use this opportunity to soak in the water, try to loosen her skin up. That's why I've actually been doing some generous misting here to try to bring up the humidity level to about 80%. Normally these guys range from around 60 to 70. You obviously got to increase the humidity if you want the snake to shed correctly, so that's what I'm trying to do. But she's a really nice gal. These guys can have an attitude. It's unmistakable when reptile owners and breeders will tell you don't get these snakes because they're super aggressive. But she's been just an absolute joy. Super tame. I can go in here and just pet her, and she's not going to do anything. I trust her 100%. I've had her out for hours actually these last couple of days. So she's a really nice snake. Really cool pattern too, just amazing snake. So the water bowl, right, is large enough for her to soak in. Now when she gets bigger, I'm most likely gonna decrease the size of that water bowl, and just take her out maybe once a week or a few days a week to soak. Because once these guys go in the water bowl, you've really got to clean it, because they like to do their business sort of in the water bowl. And I don't really want to be changing water bowls, once or twice a day. So probably just going to limit it to a drinking size, and then take the animal out to soak. So I've got a hide here, sort of, that's in the middle. It's sort of half on the warm side, half on the cool side. So there's actually a bit of thermo regulation just inside this hide. Also a rock right here, which is actually secured to the bottom. So once she starts shedding, she's going to use this to really get her shed going. That's the whole setup. What I have back here, see if I can show you. There's a cord that goes to a heat mat that is secured. Let's see if I can see. That's secured right there under the enclosure, which heats up about a third of the ground substrate here. So that's going to be her basking sort of area in the back, and this is going to be sort of her hangout spot. So it's pretty simple, really. And you know, once the snake is obviously shedding, you want to mist it about once or twice a day to get that humidity level up. Otherwise, actually, this enclosure is very good at keeping this, you know, 60 to 70 humidity even when I'm doing nothing. So that's the real pro with having one of these, you know, high top containers and a little slit on the top for ventilation to come through. Let's see here. I really recommend getting one of these, the hygrometer. It's a good tool. Some of them won't be accurate, but this is a pretty good brand, and I do actually kind of trust it. So it's going to show you how, you know, what your level of humidity is. If you want to get a really accurate one, get, you know, obviously the digital ones. But that works pretty good for my purposes. There she is. Look at this gal. Let's see if I can take out and show you guys. These snakes are incredibly inquisitive and cool. I mean, just look at that, you know. And they have a strange sort of like sensation to them. Very powerful though. There she is. How you doing? Yeah, so she's going into shed. A lot of animals, you know, sort of become aggressive when going into shed, but she's just been totally fine. Never struck at me once, never even hissed, done nothing. I think I put probably 2 or 3 hours into just handling her the last couple days. So she's just, you know, to see her temperament. So she's just absolutely an incredible animal. Look at that. And they are strong. Like, I've had boa constrictors and pythons and all that kind of stuff, but these guys are powerful. You know, they'll give you a good squeeze right there. Even this size, I mean, it's incredible the power these animals have. And I can't wait for her to mature and, you know, get into a bigger size. One more important thing, do not overfeed these guys. They get fat pretty quick, and you know, that can lead to stuff like organ failure later on in life. So you definitely make sure you're feeding them consistently and appropriate size meals. Obviously at this size, I'd recommend feeding, you know, once a week to every 10 days. And you want to look at the thickest part of the body, and you want to do about that size, if not a little bit bigger than that, to make sure you don't overfeed them. There's guys out there that'll feed them, you know, every 4 days to bring them up to this giant size when they're like 1 or 2 years old. And that's a super unhealthy way for the snake to live, and that snake normally dies within a few years. Obviously, they don't have a super long lifespan. We're talking about 15 years for these guys. But they should really make it longer than, you know, 4 or 5 years. And some of the bigger, really, really fat snakes are dying at that age, so. Look at that. That's incredible. Incredible snakes. And their eyes are so bizarre too. It's like almost like a I don't know how to describe it. First of all, the eyes are at the top of the head, which is advantageous if they're in water. So let's see if she'll actually go back into her water bowl. I don't want to disturb her too much here. Yeah, she's got a good grip on me. She's not gonna want to let go. All right, I need to put down the camera here for a second. All right, girl, come on, come on. Yeah, she's tightening her grip. Let's be courteous here. That water bowl is about lukewarm. I try not to have too cold of a water bowl for these guys. Let's see if she'll go down and keep asking. I don't want to disturb her actually. No, just go back. Alright. Cool animals though. They do get quite big, the females. This one here is actually a female. But not as big, not even close to as big as the green anacondas and the Burmese pythons and all that kind of stuff. So that's basically my setup for her and the homemade enclosure. Also, just a bit about, you know, substrate. This right here is the sort of thinner type aspen shavings. This is sort of standard what I use to all my snakes. I might change it out to something like mulch or coconut husk or something like that, because that's going to hold the humidity better. But I've had no real struggles with this right now. It's holding good humidity. So only downside is this stuff can actually mold after a while. But I haven't seen that, you know, personally I haven't seen that problem. And I've kept a lot of snakes, so it's good substrate, you know. And it's good to have, you know, sort of a one substrate for all your animals, so I don't have to constantly be going back and forth with different, you know, substrates. So, you know, unless this is, you know, becoming super non-effective, then I'm probably going to keep this for now. So, and this snake is obviously going to grow into this enclosure. I don't plan on, you know, building a bigger one for a while. So, I mean, look at the size of this tub. It's quite substantial for this snake. But she is comfortable in there. She's not really scared. She's not curling up. She's out there exploring every single day. So, she's happy about it, you know. Just look at this snake right here. I mean, look how tame this one is, you know. And all these people saying that these snakes don't ever, you know, tame up or don't ever become, you know, nice. And it's most of the time it's the small ones that'll be, you know, sort of the more aggressive snakes. So if she's only a baby, she's this nice. I hope this will stick throughout her life, because that's gonna be really cool when she gets, you know, 10 or 11 feet long. So there you go. That is the setup. Gonna want to bring this inside, actually. I'm not a big fan of having, you know, just this one cage in the garage while everything else is in my house. So there you go. And this enclosure, well, not anymore, because, you know, it's actually out for the moment. But captive bred grass snake resides in here normally, and I'm gonna post a video about this snake and the setup in just a few days. So maybe even today, actually, if I have time to make it. So. But that is where she lives, or he lives. That's a male, and this is the Yellow Anaconda. So, cool looking snake. They're not really all that demanding, and as long as you got room for once this snake, you know, gets into a good size, then I would say it's an alright animal to keep. So that's it for the custom cage and the Yellow Anaconda. Thank you guys for watching.